Hey there, NPCs. Welcome to our actual play of Shadowrun 6th World, Emerald Glitch. I'm your GM, Bob, Dr. Meat Grinder Loper, and tonight we're continuing the case of the glitchy Technomancer, which we began during the second half of last session. So last time, and I'll just give the recap of this case, because we had a couple of weeks between cases. The runners were hired by one of their former enemies, the enemy decker known as Percussion, whom they kind of owned at the end of the case of the Beleaguered Professor. But apparently his sister, a technomancer, has been kidnapped and has been missing for quite some time. So when you guys met, there was a whole... there was your usual awkwardness as a team of runners, even before everybody got into the van. I believe there was a face-off through the windows of two cabs. But you were hired. He gave you a drone that had found him, and so you have an anthroform drone that has been shot up. That he said, "Hey, if this helps you find her, keep it." And there were apparently two Johnsons that might be involved. One of them is the Johnson from that first run, Zoe Leland. And the other one was the Johnson that hired Percussion's sister, Spinner, to break into a warehouse in the north of Everett, not too far from the Metroplex Naval Station. Excuse me. Let's see. So you've got a bunch of leads to look at. You also were looking at the safe house that Percussion and Spinner shared as a family. And so I think that's kind of where we left off. You had pretty much investigated that safe house, collected a bunch of tech toys, but found out that safe house had been pretty clearly searched before and reset. Meanwhile, Curie dropped to the ground as she went astral to follow two guys in a van as they fled the scene. Violet had seen them monitoring either you guys or the safe house or both. But it's a sort of lock eyes situation. You look at them and they look at you out of the van and they're like, "Oh crap," and they drive off. And so we've got, you guys do have a license plate from that van. Fisher was able to give you that. But Violet also talked to a homeless guy in a similar motel across the street who had seen a couple of vans come and go over the past couple of weeks since he'd been there. And he's able to give you both license plates. So we're going to pick up now with Fisher, because Randy wasn't here last week, and Fisher has a lot of work ahead of him. There were a number of times when the rest of the group said, "Hey, the Decker should be doing this. The Decker should be doing that."
One was dance. So you have to RP a dance right now. That's the first thing. There you go.
Nice. Well
it's
done.
like 20 minute dance though. So everybody buckle up.
In addition to being the driver, because you're the only one who bought a vehicle.
I pressed the button.
So we'll pick up with just Fisher, as he has a bunch of leads to follow up on. You have the drone. I believe they wanted you to take a look to do some data searching on each of the Johnsons, and possibly that warehouse lab.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll let you decide what you want to do first.
Warehouse in Everett, right?
Yes.
Cool. Sounds great.
And incidentally, the safe house is also in Everett, but it's further south.
Okay.
The warehouse is up toward pretty close to the naval station.
All right. In that case, I want to start with looking up information on the two Johnsons. Specifically, let's start with Zoe Leland.
Okay.
Since we've already had a run-in with Zoe, and it sounds like they're up to no good. Lots of stuff. So
yeah. So you've done a data search on her before, and that's how you have her name.
Right. Okay, then why don't we start with the other person? Because then what I would like to do is try to find out how they're connected, or what if there are any connections there that are easily found. But let's start figuring out who this other Johnson is. So let's see. I would love to begin by
So there's the other Johnson.
oh, cool. So we have a face.
You have a face.
I wonder if there's any way to sort of I guess search the matrix for some basic information on her.
Yeah, there's certainly there's a matrix search action.
Yeah, I will do that.
So that is an electronics plus intuition test.
All right. Electronics and intuition. Yeah. And I would be using my deck. So let's go. I have 3 hits. That's not much for a pool of 11. So, and I have my full 4 edge at this point, right?
Yeah. So your edge reset at the beginning of the case.
So,
and you do have a couple of 4s there. You can bump to 5s.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. And so that's 2 edge there, right?
2 edge per 4.
Yeah. So I will spin those 2. I will use all my edge, but I will get 5 hits on that.
5 hits. Okay.
And I also get an edge for using my intuition, correct?
No, it's for logic. Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder. Cool.
Okay, so let me modify the character description. So now you have a name for this person.
Nice. I like that.
So this is the name is Piper Allison.
All right.
She is a Ms. Johnson for MCT, Mitsuhama Computer Technologies. She is relatively new to MCT. They hired her away from Knight Errant's PR department a couple of years before they left Seattle. So Knight Errant used to run the law enforcement contract. So when Seattle went independent, when they broke away from UCAS, they kicked Knight Errant out as well and brought Lone Star Security Services back in.
Got it. I'm not seeing the updated character bio, but
let me see. So all I did was change the name, really.
oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see. And you said Mitsuhama is the
Yeah. So
company?
So MCT.
CT. Yep. Got it. And I'm just looking back at
the things you get while you're searching is so she was brought in as an associate to Zoe Leland. But as you dig deeper, you dig through all this sort of matrix rumor mill, and you get the sense the higher ups at MCT like Allison much better than they like Leland. Because Allison apparently has a track record of success at her previous job. She's done well at MCT since she came on board. And lately, you're getting the sense through this rumor mill that that Zoe Leland is starting to be on the outs.
Okay.
Because she's going through this sort of streak of failure, and of course, corporations tend to frown on failure.
Sorry, just writing some notes. Got it. Okay. Um, that's really interesting. What I would then like to do probably is hmm. So I know that they're sort of connected in that way. I actually want to look up some information on Percussion's sister. What do I know
Okay.
about her?
So here is a picture of Spinner. So Rem put me on the spot last week. I'd forgotten to say what her Matrix persona was like. So I did fill in. She's the guitarist to, as she calls her brother, the little drummer boy.
Ah, does she have a cool little nickname for her guitarist? Little guitar lady?
No, little drummer boy is just the sort of the dig that she calls percussion, because percussion's Matrix persona is a drummer.
Got it. Okay. So then,
So then you guys did a bit of a search last time, especially through social media, and you found that she either scrubbed her social media or didn't do much social media to begin with. The most you get is there are a few pictures here and there where she's been tagged on.
okay.
And you guys did find out at the meeting. The brother grudgingly admitted that she had been in a relationship with Hopper, which was the mage from that run.
Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to see some stuff. But that's all nice and good. But I'm still not seeing why these two would sort of go after her if she doesn't have like much of a public profile. So I'm wondering, is there any way I could do a more deep search into her Matrix persona? Maybe any mentions of like a guitarist, maybe potentially being a runner, or like I'm trying to find anything that would be
Yeah.
wise to court people would sort of be after someone like that.
Yeah, so you can go and make another Matrix search if you'd like.
Yep. Will do.
And you also know from last week's investigation that she is a technomancer.
Mhm.
And with 4 hits, yeah, with 4 hits, it's easy to realize. Back in the day, back when technomancers first started coming out, there were corporations that had bounties on technomancers because it's the same thing that happened when mages came around. Uh, just like the hysteria that a mage was just going to slice through your mind. They were going to puppet you around like a rag doll. Well, now, or at least when Technomancers first came out, people were afraid that, hey, Matrix security is gone now. Technomancer could just come right in and slice your system, no problem. And to a certain extent, that may or may not be true, but Matrix protocols have increased since then. That's part of the reason why you have a cyberjack now and not just a cyberdeck.
Right.
So that sort of incorporates a lot of those protocols that were found to be used by technomancers. Technomancers just use them naturally without cyberware.
Right.
There are rumors out there that people still pay bounties on technomancers.
Okay. Then I would want to do a matrix search for more information on
Okay.
if there could be a bounty on specifically her, or just like I guess actually what I would want to do is see if no, I probably can't do that with that. That's too vague. Yeah, I mean,
What question do you have? And maybe we can
yeah, I mean,
find
what I
something
want to
out.
do is find out. first, if there's specifically like any mention of uh, a a hit sort of on her, like any information, any people trying to find her and maybe her brother, because her brother's also like a known commodity, right?
Okay.
Um,
So we can have you make another electronics and intuition roll. This will be at -1.
all right.
You're essentially carrying on with the same
Mhm.
data search
Let's do it with
and digging
mine.
deeper.
Yeah. How do I? I'm trying to -1 that.
If you have trouble with it, I could just pull off the last hit.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
find I do that fairly frequently.
Yeah. So 3 hits.
Yeah, that last die is a 1 anyway. You don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want that at all. Nope.
So that's 4 more hits. So it's a total of 8 as we go deeper. And oh yeah, okay. So now you're getting some good information. You think? So no one had a bounty, as far as you can tell, specifically on Spinner. But MCT is one of those that sort of discreetly will. I mean, they won't solicit a bounty. They won't offer a bounty. But rumor is, if you bring in a technomancer alive, they'll pay you a little something extra because they are still very interested in computer research. It's in their name.
Right. And why would they want people who are able to sort of mess that up?
Right.
All right.
Um,
So
you're starting to put things together,
Mhm.
and you also find there are rumors that that she and Hopper had a falling out. Uh, fairly soon before she went missing.
good to know. I think it's time to look into that drone a bit.
Okay.
So, oh yeah.
So it is an anthroform drone. I'll show you that one. It does not look that good. It is very shot up. And you start looking at it, looking into the bullet holes and things like that. You can tell the bullet holes are. Let me see if you can tell that. Yeah, you can kind of tell that. You can tell the bullet holes appear to be from heavy pistol or SMG sized rounds. And inside, as you're sort of looking inside, you pull a flashlight out and you look in. You do find that there's a little bit of water inside.
Oh. Uh, would it be possible for? I mean, I would take it that water would potentially mess up the electronics inside of this, right? Is that a good
Yeah,
assumption?
it's generally not good to get the inside of a
Yeah.
drone wet.
Are like water bullets a thing? I mean, I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, you've
If
only
not,
heard
it's
of
magic. If not, it's magic. So
yeah, it's you've only heard of them in magic and science fiction.
cool. Then what I will do then is I would love to sort of try to hack this thing, but there's probably it's not functioning, right?
Yeah,
So
it's going to take a lot to repair it.
right, and I am not the electronics capable guy who
Okay,
probably
so
could repair.
do you have an engineering skill?
No, that's why I said I can't.
Okay.
But I can try to find someone who can.
If you have electronics, I will let you try
I do
that.
have electronics.
So
So
this will be electronics plus logic. So you'll get your edge
okay.
for that.
Yay! I like getting edge. Then, is it computers?
No, this is more hardware.
Just kidding. It's a joke. I know it's probably not. But let's see. Ooh, look at that. 3 hits.
Okay. So you start looking at it. You start you pull out your little toolkit and start hooking up diagnostic devices to it and start working with it at tools. It's going to take you a little while longer to repair it enough to access it.
Okay. Well,
So
I'll
go ahead and
just
make another
continue
one of
that.
those.
Yeah.
And it will give you another point of edge.
Nice. That's
Oh, that's a
6.
nice roll. Okay. So it takes you a couple of hours, which is basically the entire time the rest of these people are in the safe house throughout all of their shenanigans, including a bit where Nova jumps in the van and asks you to drive her across the street. So you look up and you sort of mentally hit the button, and the van drives itself across the street.
Yep. Sounds right.
But you do get it sort of working enough that, I mean, this thing will need a serious repair bay and somebody really skilled in engineering to make it really function again.
Right.
But you think you can access certain pieces of the memory.
And that's all I'm looking to access. So I want to crack that memory like an egg.
Yeah, so you do get a few pieces of information. First is that it looks like as you're sort of rooting around in the memory core, something was jumped into it at the time it was shot. And as you're sort of digging deeper, you get the sense that whatever was jumped into it was a machine sprite. So it's the technomancer version of a spirit. You also dig up GPS origin coordinates.
Ooh. Nice.
And it corresponds to that warehouse.
Okay. Well, I mean, the last yeah, that's great. So we know that's where it came from. We know there was some kind of machine sprite that hopped into it. I would love to check if there's any connection between the warehouse, specifically our Johnsons, and money tracing back to
Okay.
the company. That's
so you
really
do.
I'm
So you do
trying
know
to
that.
connect lines, basically.
Yeah. So you do know that Piper Allison hired Spinner and her team to go into that warehouse.
Mhm.
And within a few days of that happening is when Spinner went missing.
Okay.
While you're on the drone, why don't you go and make a perception test for me?
All right. And see, this is why you don't take a week off because you don't remember where the freaking there it is. All right, let's see. That's 2 hits. Let's make
So
it 3. Can I make it 3? Let's see. No.
You can. So you've got a couple of points of edge. You can actually spend.
I can spin both of them to re-roll.
You can re-roll a couple of those ones if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll re-roll 2d6. And I got a 4. And yeah.
No.
No.
Okay. You're catching, and the reason is I'm not asking for like a visual or auditory, but this is an olfactory perception test.
Mm.
And you're kind of sniffing at it, and something smells weird about it because you're pretty close to the drone while you're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't notice it before you started working on it. And you're pretty sure it's not the sort of smell that you would imagine working on electronics, you know, that sort of burning electronic smell.
Yeah.
The burning chip smell. It's not that. It's something that you've smelled before, you think, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
All right. He scratches his head as he's like, there's something like an itch at the back of his mind as he's trying to place what that smell is, but he can't quite place it, and it's slightly frustrating to him. But so I mean, I have some information. I still don't know where the like. Can I look at potentially who is able to like make or sell this kind of robot, and maybe like some
Oh
information
yeah.
like that?
Let me see here. Silly me, I didn't put the brand or the model name for it. I did not. Okay. But it's a fairly common anthroform drone. And it is a Shiawase bidrone butler. It does have, as you sort of dig around inside it and you're sort of working around in the memory core, it's essentially MCT's version of that drone. It's like MCT completely violated patent, because it happens all the time in Shadowrun. What's a patent? And they just sort of made something that looks and works kind of like it, and they slapped the MCT sticker on it. But it is definitely an MCT branded drone.
All right. I know that that the sister, she's the one who brought the drone to the brother, right? To Spinner brought it to percussion. Is that
Yeah, so that's what he said. That's what Percussion said, is that it carried a message from her that said, "Find me and free me." And apparently, it had been the first time he'd heard from her in like 6 weeks.
Yeah. But the brother Percussion didn't tell us anything about these bullet holes in it. Like he didn't explain a gunfight or anything like that. It was
No,
already beat up when it like came to him.
yeah,
Okay.
and he did not mention the water.
Right. Right. Huh.
And there was a bit of a joke last week of him saying, "Well, maybe your Decker is more capable than I am," and the whole group had a laugh at that.
I mean, I already hacked into his brain, so the answer is yes. But um, all right. I guess the last thing I want to do is check out Hopper a bit more information on Hopper, because if
Okay.
Hopper and then I mean I'm just sort of pulling at all these strings trying to see what information I can get. But Hopper specifically having a falling out with Spinner.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I want to check if Hopper. Yeah. Let's just look into what we see there.
Sure. So that'll be another matrix search test. Electronics plus intuition.
I got too excited. It was like logic. I like the logic.
Yeah, alas, it does have that intuition sitting there in the rule book. Oof. Yeah, with one hit. You
I don't get nothing.
the only thing you really get is that it looks like he has gone to ground recently. He is nowhere to be found. You can attempt to extend that test by rolling that again at -1.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna do that. So you can take one of these off.
Okay. So unfortunately, one of those will
Is
take
a 6. Yeah.
we'll take a 6 off. So it's 4 hits total, 3 from this one and 1 from the original roll. So what that gets you is, okay, whispers, gossip, things like that. Okay, so you do get so there's definitely rumor that he and Spinner were dating.
Yeah.
In a way that the brother wasn't comfortable with. because what brother wants to talk about his sister dating anyone? And there's a rumor of a bit of double dealing that might have gone on between Spinner and Hopper and one or both of the Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely was leaning in that direction.
And it seems like each was sort of bribed, cajoled, paid to betray the other, and it's hard to tell which one was betrayed first. From what
so they
getting.
both were kind of doing some weird stuff, and then the sister may have gotten caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing that can I look back at the drone? And what I would like to do, and I don't know how you would do this, but basically is look at the last like where the memory was when it last, like when that sprite sort of jumped into it, see if there's any way I can get any information as to where that act specifically happened. So like maybe visual cues, audio cues, anything data wise that I can find.
Yeah, so that'll be another matrix search.
Mm-hmm. All right. I like the searching of the matrix.
Actually, I'll let you do logic for this one, electronics and logic.
That's much better. Wait, I rolled already.
Go ahead and roll it again.
Okay, cool.
This will be electronics and logic, and you do get an edge for the analytical mind. There's a lot of ones, but not enough to be dangerous. So with 4 hits, I mean, the memory is very spotty, and part of it is there's a bullet track going through the memory core.
Okay.
And you do actually find a bullet left over,
yeah.
but it is obliterated a part of the memory. But what you do find is that there are bits and pieces of memory, of sensory memory. And the first one is like the activating the GPS coordinates and a destination coordinate that is the warehouse where you had your first meet, where you guys met Percussion last week. There's another sensory memory of being underwater. And you can kind of see as it sort of looks back, as it submerges, the underwater section is definitely in Puget Sound. And it's at that point that the water basically, I mean, because it's full of bullet holes at this point, water floods it. And that doesn't do it any other favors. But apparently at this point, the sprite is doing all the work of keeping this drone alive. Aww. It is through pure resonance keeping the drone moving because it has a mission to do.
Okay.
And so you get flashes of there's water, there's sort of land off in the distance. You see the Metroplex naval station. Mm-hmm. I point off this way because it's sort of in the vision. It's off to its right.
Okay. Are there any kinds of markers on bullets in this world? Like for like what kind of like connecting it to a gun?
It depends on how legal the gun is.
Well, I'm gonna check
if it's a just straight up licensed civilian gun, yeah, those things are tagged.
All right, let's check.
Most Shadowrunner guns
probably not. Yeah,
are not tagged for some strange reason.
Oh, why would they do that? Amateurs, if they do.
So let's see. I'm going to ask you for a matrix perception test, which is the same. It's electronics and intuition.
Okay.
And you'll need a fairly high number for that.
Okay.
But it will give you an edge for the idea.
Do I have any fours? I will change that last four to a
To a 5.
yep.
Okay. So you have 5 hits, and five was the number I had in mind. So yeah, oddly the one that went through the memory core and sort of lodged in it. That's the one that you're able to recover.
Yeah, I have
'Cause
like tweezers as I'm like trying
Yeah,
to
you hit the
carefully do that.
tweezers, and you put it in your bug scanner, because I think you
Yep,
guys
I
made sure to
have
get a bug scanner.
I have a bug scanner. I sure do.
So you hook that up to your deck, and you're sort of doing a scan of the, um, thinking almost like a cop at this point, or detective, and you're sort of scanning the bullet for its, and it does actually have the tag. It is actually tagged. It's registered to. It is registered as an issue weapon for MCT corporate security.
Okay. So we have our connects to that.
And it is SMG ammo. It's ammo for an FN P93 Praetor.
Okay. So, I mean, what it's seeming like is obviously someone wanted to. I mean, MCT probably like is looking for technomancers and taking them out. Someone put a hit on this sister, but they probably got that information after the two Johnsons and the two guys around connected to the sister were double crossing each other. There's some connection there.
Yeah, you're sensing there's all sorts of double crossing, triple crossing,
Yeah,
quadruple crossing going on.
and so, but the key of what I'm trying to find is any last like information on a potential whereabout beyond just this warehouse. I mean, I know where the warehouse is, and we haven't been to the origin warehouse yet, right?
That's correct.
Then I mean that's where we need to go next.
I think they were hoping to have you do some research before they just busted in.
Yeah. So I mean that's where this robot came from, and you were right. So good job, team. I would basically I'm just sort of thinking, is there anything else that they would have asked me to do? Team.
So I'll go back to your first question, because you asked
Yeah.
a question at the beginning about Zoe Leland.
Right.
And so maybe now is a good time to do a matrix search to tie her loose ends
those
together.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I will do that.
And I'll let you roll logic on this one.
I love that. Thanks.
And I'll give you a bonus edge in addition to your analytical mind, because that was the question you asked first.
And then that's 4 hits. I'm actually going to use those 2 edge because I am just loving using edge. So that's 5 hits.
Make it rain edge. Yeah, so you have 5 hits on that now. Yeah, so everything that you're seeing with Zoe Leland seems to be coming back to the research that she was trying to get from Professor Redstone. I mean, she said she wasn't obsessed with him, but she's kind of obsessed with the research.
Okay, but I know I said I was done. Can I look up what about this research? What is there in? You know what? Actually,
so you've done some work on this before, and in fact,
but that's not what I want to look. I want to look deeper than that. I want to look at specifically what a corp like MCT may be trying to get out of this research. Like what fiscal way could they use this research to make money? And by that I mean I want to try to look at some information on them and like see if there's chat specifically around that research.
Yeah, so go ahead and do another matrix search.
Yep.
Do you have any knowledge skills that might help?
I have, let me see. I have a couple of knowledge skills. I believe I have lots of matrix knowledge, basically. Where's my knowledge? Oh, there it is. I have matrix threats, cybersecurity countermeasures. Uh, yeah, those probably gaming's probably not going to help, but that's my favorite knowledge.
Yeah, so you don't have a knowledge skill that
That is
is
specific here. Got it.
that is specific here, but you do remember because Redstone basically flooded Curie's comlink with his research papers, and he called this research work quasi-resonant precognition.
Right.
And the sense you're getting from, the various discussions that go on, most of the discussions about his work are centered around it being total bunk.
Right.
But there are a few conversations that you see that talk about the reason you call it quasi-resonant precognition is you're doing precognition without a mage.
Right.
And so it's essentially running some sort of a highly complicated mathematical model to actually accomplish precognition.
Oh, yeah. No, that would make you lots of money if you record. Got
Yes.
it. I see why she's trying to make money off of it.
And you remember, she tried even before the whole Shadowrunner incident. She tried before to sort of lure him away to MCT, and he was not interested in being corporate.
Okay. Got it.
All right, so you have a bunch of information to converse with the team about.
Yeah.
And so we will resume with the rest of the team as they are coming out. And actually, we'll zoom in on Curie for a moment.
Oh, hi.
So, Curie, you are in the van with the two guys as they're driving around. And you recall from last time, these two guys are mundanes.
Mm-hmm.
They're Essence 6, no cyber. And they're just dudes.
Yep, and I'm along for the ride.
Yep. So you go along for the ride, and you definitely see. Let's see. This is probably after midnight by now, so there's no sunlight. But you do get glimpses once in a while of Puget Sound, and so that gives you an idea that you're heading north. And why don't you make an astral signatures test for me?
Okie day.
Okay.
Ooh, that was pretty nice.
So they are headed into sort of the dock district of Everett, and they are pulling up to a warehouse. And you sense with your 5 hits on astral signatures, they are about to drive through a ward.
Oh no!
And
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and backflip on out of the van and stop before we get there. And then I want to find something in the astral vision, find like big blocky whatever to hide behind, and then like manifest to get a better look.
So manifesting doesn't really give you a better look
Oh, poopy.
because you still can't read things generally unless there's emotion behind it. You're still limited to seeing life and astral energy, things like that.
Okay.
The only thing manifesting allows you to do is boo.
Boo. Yeah. All right. So
You do notice the ward is Force 5. And
Ooh.
it does encompass the entire warehouse.
From my hidden blocky position, like maybe around some crates or something like that, I want to keep an eye for a minute or two and see if there's any spirits doing rounds.
Okay, so you hang out for a bit. The sort of normal amount of time you would think it takes a normal spirit to do a patrol round of the building, and you do not see any spirits doing patrol.
Okay.
All the spirits you see like some spirits off in the distance, but off in the distance doesn't necessarily mean patrolling this building.
Right. So I want to very quickly zoom straight up into the air and kind of get a feel for like that position of where I am, where it's like, okay, it's the 5th blocky thing that's a warehouse on the right from like, just so I can kind of pinpoint a little bit better before I zoom back to my body.
Okay. So you're kind of trying to get the lay of the land without the benefit of street signs, just sort of counting buildings, counting things that look like streets.
Yeah.
So you think you have, as you study this for a little while, and you're still not pestered by any spirits, you think you have the lay of the land a bit, that you could probably guide people back to wherever this is.
Okay. Zoom.
And so you return to your body. I won't make you do an astral search for the body that's just right across the street now.
When it's not exactly where I left it, like I knew I checked the parking lot because I figure like they would have put me in the van, but so I kind of curse that I have to do any further looking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was talk, not that you heard it, but there was talk of having put you in the safe house.
Curie doesn't doubt that that was a topic of conversation.
So did you guys put the body in the back of the van? That's what I want to know. As we go back to the rest of the group.
Yes, I absolutely did.
Okay. So Curie, you are at least that much pleased that you are in your familiar back seat as you open your eyes.
I look around at everyone and say, they're in the docks district. Is that what it was? North, in a warehouse. There's no spirits, but there's a level 5. There's a decently powerful ward around the building. So someone magical has been there.
Here with you? Or
What?
So I think, everybody is, I think, in the van at this point.
Okay.
You guys have finished your investigation.
Then I would show the coordinates that I got from the robot and ask if those correspond with sort of the area that you're talking about.
I don't know, so I kind of describe like, so you're gonna head north. I saw the Puget Sound, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I saw that a couple times, so we're heading north. I think it has to be this road maybe, and like I just kind of describe as best as I can how to get there and see if
And
that
I use my Seattle area knowledge to see if that works.
There you go.
Without even having to make a memory test, I mean, I'll give you the edge for the knowledge skill, but without even having to roll it, the place that she's describing is almost certainly the origin coordinates for the drone.
All right, and I go. I would share that. I don't want to like rehash everything that we learned because everyone heard it. But that has also been shared with you all, sort of everything that I would have got from the drone, information on the 2 Johnsons. Specifically, as Curie comes back and is sharing that information about where this warehouse is and this ward specifically, he would be like, yeah, it sounds like all of our signs are pointing us in that direction. And I think we very well could come across not only wards, but potentially MCT like people there, because that is who sort of probably sent this robot out in the first place.
At that information, I especially about the warehouse, that it's the same warehouse, I send a text to Nova and Violet saying, it's like we didn't even need a Deca.
I send a message as I see you sending a message to Mr. Bell saying, yeah, we got all that information from my hacking. It's almost like we didn't need someone entering the astral plane.
You get the attempt of a ad popping up in your AR.
Me as Amber wishes Noah got both text messages.
I can include you on the next one. But yeah, I think we're heading in that direction. So I just make sure that the van is heading there. I mean, it was probably already heading there. So
Yeah, so as we enter the next awkward van ride, we'll go ahead and go to our first 5-minute break.
That's going to give Amber too much time to look up a fun fact.
much time isn't even needed.
I know, right?